Welcome back to the Chargers franchise and welcome to part 2 of the offseason, as today we will cover free agency and the NFL draft along with a preseason practice at the end to wrap it all up for the season 1 offseason. Sorry about the delay. I had internet problems over the last couple days. I was just going to try to get this out on Tuesday, but it's going to come out 2 days later. Oh well, at least it's here, and let's get right into the offseason. Starting off with free agency, so I still had a lot of guys I had to have last chance negotiations with, and I couldn't re-sign most of them because of the cap space. It's just so poor. Good news is I got Quentin Spain back on the team, and I decided to franchise tag Melvin Gordon. I can only choose between either him or Jatavis Brown. I couldn't franchise tag both. So unfortunately, for Jatavis Brown will be testing the waters in free agency. I withdraw Jalen Watkins' contract, same thing with Andre Smith. Cole Toner, the backup center, won't be with the team next season. And pretty much everyone else, I don't think I'll re-sign just to see if I can free up a lot of cap space. So that's what we're going into free agency starting off with. So I really wanted to get some free agents, but as you see there, we have negative $8.48 million in cap. So we need to find a way to, release some of that cap space, because I want to make I tried to make some signings, but it's going to be really difficult. And there are some pretty good free agents this year, like Kareem Hunt and Ryan Shazier and all that stuff. So the first trade I made to free up cap space was trading Russell Okung to the Philadelphia Eagles for draft picks. And I got that trade accepted. So 2 back-to-back 5th-round draft picks. I made a bid on Greg Robinson, a left tackle, Malik Collins, a defensive tackle. Now we head to the next stage of free agency. I released Sam Tevi, who's a third-string right tackle, won't really see the field a lot. So yeah, that's not going to work out too much for him. Also, Cortez Brogdon gets released. He was on the practice squad as a defensive tackle. And then punter Ty Long gets cut. I already have Tyler Newsome, so I don't need Ty Long. I don't need 2 punters on the team. Another trade was accepted. I traded Travis Benjamin to the Redskins for 3 draft picks, 2 of them being this year and 1 for next year. And then I was able to give Auden Tate a pretty good deal with all that cap space I released. Nick Perry was another guy I put on the list to see if I can get him on the team as a solid outside linebacker. I got Auden Tate back on the team, so that's some good news. We got 1 signing, but Malik Collins rejected ours. I also released practice squad player Artavis Scott for more cap space. Sean Colkin, the tight end, gets released. And I put an offer for Jeremy Parnell, a right tackle that I desperately need. And we'll see how that one goes. Here is the league signing so far. We got Bridgewater to the Saints, Brissett to the Broncos, Kevin Hogan to the Jets, Taysom Hill to the Cowboys, Taylor Heineke to the Cowboys. So some backup quarterbacks going elsewhere. Taysom Hill leaving New Orleans. That's interesting to see. And then just a bunch of backups so far. Kareem Hunt going to the Bills, Derrick Henry to the Buccaneers. Sorry, some big names going different places. And there's our former fullback, Derek Watt. He's going to the Washington Redskins. Anthony Sherman, who was a former Chiefs fullback, I believe. He's going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then a bunch of other fullbacks up there. Nelson Aguilar to the Texans. Josh Gordon to the Cardinals. Willie Snead to the Redskins. Josh Dotson to the Bengals. And some other names, there's Jeremy Davis, one of our former Chargers players. He's going to the Chiefs. Eric Ebron leaves the Indianapolis Colts. That's an interesting signing right there. And then a bunch of other offensive linemen. Jack Conklin leaves the Titans for the Buccaneers. Still some good available free agents like Drew Brees. He's up. A lot of guys that are much older, of course. Matt Bryant's another example. They still got some kickers up there. Josh Lambo and Harrison Butker stay on there. Steven Gostkowski. Randy Gregory, LaShawn McCoy are still on the list for available free agents. And not very many good offensive linemen left. And I was hoping maybe I could get someone with trying to free up all this cap space, but I don't think I really have a choice because I had, all that trades I had to make, and I didn't really get anyone good. So as we're getting close to the NFL draft, here's some basic scoutings with combine grades now. And here's someone I found, Kendall Vildor, 3rd-round talent, projected in the 7th round. He may be a potential steal. I looked at corners because I do need a new corner with Michael Davis now off the team. Testing the waters in free agency and going elsewhere. I made a trade to the Titans, trading 3 picks for a 3rd-round pick this year. I decided I wanted to move up a pick. I actually didn't have a 3rd-round pick originally, so from a trade I made earlier this year. I think that was in the Quentin Spain trade. So I got a new 3rd-round pick, so I got that replaced. And looking at more of the scouting, big things we need, of course, are offensive line, because we need to protect Phillip Rivers next year. Defense, we need to build up the defense a little bit more, mainly just all-around positions. And the third big thing of this offseason is limiting turnovers. That's more on me, though, so I'll see what I can do there. I'm looking to maybe find some skill position players, maybe some more receivers on the roster, maybe even maybe a tight end. Quarterback-wise, I could go for a quarterback this year. I was really debating it. Maybe going after, not Joe Burrow, because I didn't think I'd get him, but maybe Tua Tagovailoa or Justin Herbert could be, on the Chargers in this series. Not really sure how that's going to go. I did look at some more linemen. Not really anything impressive in this 2020 class. I go down. I got to go fast here because, it's a lot of time in this video. So I got to speed some things up and just checking out the projections, seeing where everything goes. I put my last few scouting points into Lamar Winston Jr. And now the league news. Here's some big signings. DeMar Dotson to the Bills. Des Bryant goes to the Bills as well. The Bills having a pretty good free agency period. They also had Kareem Hunt, just like I said earlier. Lamar Miller goes to the Texans on a pretty nice deal. Zach Brown to the Colts. They also got the deal with Travis Benjamin. I already showed you that with the trade. The Redskins getting him at receiver. And here are still available free agents. Drew Brees is going to be a free agent for, I guess, for now at least. Damian Williams, C.J. Anderson, Peyton Barber, Isaiah Crowell, Graham Gano. There's still free agents out there. Randy Gregory, LaShawn McCoy. The only signing we got, of course, was Auden Tate. So, yeah, very disappointing free agency period for us. Now, here are the league signings. Ebron to the Texans, like I said. Kareem Hunt to the Bills. Kendall Fuller to the Seahawks. Miles Jack goes to the Steelers. Ryan Shazier to the Ravens, Derrick Henry to the Buccaneers, many more other players. The Cardinals picking up 3 back-to-back players, including Gerald McCoy. You got Clinton Dix up there, Devondre Campbell to the Colts. So really, lots of big names going different places. Eric Armstead of the Colts. I'd say the top 3 teams who really won this free agency period. The Buffalo Bills did a great job. I thought the Indianapolis Colts did pretty well in this free agency period, and the Arizona Cardinals. So those are 3 teams I think we could look out for next year, especially with all the signings they made. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are another team. They seem to be on this, seem to be showing up a lot here. So yeah, we'll see how those 4 teams can do next season. And so yeah, just basically just the top 100 recruits. And now we get right into the NFL draft. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers went 3-13 last year, and they will have the number 1 overall pick. Right now, Joe Burrow's projected number 1 overall. That could be an option, but I think anything could work for the Buccaneers at any skill position. So number 1 overall is Chase Young out of Ohio State, a defensive end. I think this is a pretty good pick. You build the defensive line a lot more. That front 7 is going to be even more scary now with Chase Young. Now the Cardinals, number 2, they pick Isaiah Simmons. That's kind of ironic because he was picked by them in real life at number 8. So he stays with the Cardinals in this franchise series. Jeff Okudah goes 3rd, just like real life, but this time he goes to the other NFC North team, the Minnesota Vikings. They need corners, so that's a good pick. And Mekhi Becton, one of the guys I actually really wanted to build around this offensive line with, he goes to our division rival, the Raiders, at number 4. Jedrick Wills Jr. goes to the Falcons at number 5. Pretty solid pick, but again, we're losing out on tackles already. 2 of the 4 tackles I really wanted already off the board. Jerry Jeudy to the Ravens. That's a pretty good pick. Lamar needs receivers, and they got the best one in the draft right there. Derek Brown, defensive tackle, goes 7th. He goes to the Indianapolis Colts. So that defensive lineman with him and Eric Armstead, that's going to be a pretty good front. And there goes Joe Burrow, number 8th overall to the Miami Dolphins. They need a quarterback. They got Ryan Fitzpatrick, Josh Rosen last year. I think they got to find someone they want to build around. Christian Fulton goes 9th to the Bills. That's an interesting pick. No C.J. Henderson there. C.D. Lamb goes 10th to the Detroit Lions. That's a great pickup for the Lions. A nice slot receiver. Can line them up outside as well. The San Francisco 49ers go with Andrew Thomas. That was another lineman I wanted. So only Tristan Wirfs is the main lineman I want now. That's available still. And then there he goes right there at number 12 to the Cincinnati Bengals. So Andrew Thomas and Tristan Wirfs, back-to-back linemen once again. And then Javon Kinlaw goes to the Steelers at 13. Our pick is coming up at 17, as you see up on the top. 14th overall is Grant Delpit to the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Kansas City Chiefs are now on the clock. Of course, we beat them in our record, just surpassed them as we're tied at both 8-8. There goes C.J. Henderson off the board of the Chiefs. They need some secondary help at the corner position, so that's a great pick. Then the Redskins get Xavier McKinney, safety out of Alabama. So pretty solid first 16 picks, and now we're on the clock. So there's a lot of debate about circulating what I want to go with. Do I go with a quarterback here? It seems like from the draft projections, that's what I should go with, but the talent level from scouting may be kind of a reach. The best available lineman is Josh Jones right now at left tackle, and at right tackle it's Isaiah Wilson. Dutane Mute's at right guard, but I really want to get a tackle first because our blindside blockers last year were just really poor with Russell Okung and Andre Smith, who are no longer on the team. And I want to go a different direction with these linemen. So I decided to pick up Josh Jones, who is projected to go in the first round but has fourth round talent. Definitely a reach, as you see, but has hidden development, so it could be good for the long-term run. So up next is Yuter Gross-Matos. He goes to the Saints, number 17, or number 18 actually. Number 19 is Kenneth Murray to the Raiders. Patrick Queen goes 20th to the Giants, so a lot of linebackers going off the board. Trayvon Diggs to the Jets, Cesar Ruiz to the Broncos. The Rams get A.J. Epineza. That's a pretty big pick, could be a steal. Curtis Weaver to the Eagles, Antoine Winfield Jr. to the Patriots, Justin Matabuki to the Cowboys. Texans go with Marlon Davidson. Seahawks go with Julian Okwara. He has a brother in the NFL, Romeo Okwara. The Titans go with Terrell Lewis. Ross Blacklock to the Packers. T. Higgins heading to Carolina. Nice receiver pick up there. And then the Super Bowl champs, Cleveland Browns, go with Isaiah Wilson, last pick of the first round. So now the second round is up on the board. Good players still up on the board available. And there goes Justin Jefferson, first pick of the second round to the Buccaneers. Ezra Cleveland to the Cardinals. There's another tackle off the board. Ashton Davis goes to the Vikings. Zach Bond to the Bears. Falcons go with Malik Harrison. Ravens go with Jonathan Taylor. There's the first running back, probably the best one out there. Or actually, even better one right after that, DeAndre Swift to the Colts. And then three straight running backs, J.K. Dobbins to the Dolphins. Laviska Shenault goes to the Bills. The Lions go with Matt Pert. Austin Jackson to the Seahawks. Bengals go with Jalen Johnson. Up next is the Steelers. They go with Troy Dye. Now Jacksonville on the clock. Up next. And they go with Noah Igbenogany. Lucas Niang goes to the Chiefs. And the pick before us is the Indianapolis Colts. And they select Cole Kmet, tight end. So Tua and Herbert are still on the board, and I was really thinking about picking them, but at the same time, I'm not really sure if I want to go that direction. I was thinking about outside linebacker because we lost Thomas Davis to retirement, and Kayvon Chason caught my eye. He also has hidden development, and that was a good pick. So I keep notice on the quarterbacks, but I wait another round to potentially get one, if I do get one. So here's the rest. So let's continue on. A.J. Terrell to the Dolphins. Jordan Fuller to the Bears. Albert, I can't say that last name, to the Giants. Prince Tega Wanago to the Jets. Kayvon Wallace to the Broncos. Tyler Biadasz to the Rams. Neville Gallimore to the Eagles. Kyle Duggar to the Patriots. Cowboys are next on the clock. They go with Jack Driscoll. Texans go with Carter Coughlin. Now the Seahawks are on the clock. They get Bryson Hopkins. Bradley Anae to the Titans. Logan Wilson to the Packers. Willie Gay to the Panthers. And Dutane Muti goes to the Browns. That was the offensive guard I wanted and just missed a round on him. And first pick of the third round, Tua goes to the Buccaneers. Anthony Jennings to the Cardinals. Jacob Phillips to the Vikings. Jonah Jackson to the Raiders. Jake Fromm, another quarterback, goes to the Falcons. He's the third one off the board before Herbert. Bryce Hall to the Ravens. Colts go with Jordan Love right before Herbert's slipping in this draft. David Woodard to the Dolphins. Bills go with Ben Bredesen. Patty Fisher to the Lions. Akeem Davis-Gaither to the Niners. Jacob Eason goes to the Bengals. Herbert just keeps slipping. Troy Pride to the Broncos. And the Jaguars, they go with Julian Blackmon. Chiefs go with Kalecki Hudson. Redskins go with Sheen Carter. The Bills go with Malik Herring. And then the Saints go with Justin Herbert. There he goes. He's going to the New Orleans Saints. That was the player I was going to probably take. And maybe turns out maybe wasn't a great pick in the third round. He's a 65 overall to start. Then another quarterback goes right after him. Jalen Hurts to the Raiders. Calvin Throckmorton, another Duck, goes to the Giants. Zach Moss goes to the Jets. Good pickup at running back there. Damian Lewis to the Broncos. Rams go with Isaiah Hodgins. Josh Uche to the Eagles. Raekwon Davis to the Giants. Henry Ruggs in the third round goes to the Cowboys. That could be a potential steal. Kenny Wilkins to the Texans. Clyde Edwards-Helaire goes to the Seahawks. And now our pick is up. And I was going to potentially pick a quarterback, but a bunch of them just went in the third round. I was potentially waiting, or I was going to wait till the third round. I thought, I could wait till this round to get one. But, man, they went like wildfire in the third round. So now I was thinking, okay, with the quarterback option completely off the table now, do I go O-line or do I keep building the defense? I was really eyeing on the offensive guards. I was hoping the team UT would still be in the third round. He wasn't. There is Jared Williams, right tackle, that I really like over the other two that are above him. Casey Tuhill's another guy I thought about at outside linebacker, but I already got one. Caleb Chason. And I was really looking at these offensive guards. I really liked Michael Onwenu for some reason. Had a lower combine grade than most of them, but I picked them, and it turned out to be a good pick, and a third straight pick of hidden development. So there you go. Akeem Adeji to the Packers goes next. Nick Coe to the Panthers. A.J. Dillon goes to the Browns, building up that running back core. Thaddeus Moss to the Buccaneers. Matt Hennessy to the Cardinals. Vikings are up next. They pick Michael Pittman. And then you got Yasser Durant out to the Raiders. Eno Benjamin to the Falcons. Solomon Kinley to the Ravens. Logan Stenberg to the Colts. Jeremy Chin to the Dolphins. Colton McKivitz to the Buffalo Bills. Anthony McFarland Jr. to the Detroit Lions. And then the San Francisco 49ers go with Cameron Dantzler. Dallas Cowboys go with Hunter Bryant. Steelers go with Nick Harris. Jacksonville Jaguars go with Cam Akers. More running backs going here. Nate Stanley goes to the Chiefs. They pick up a backup quarterback. And now we're on the clock here in the fourth round. Now, corner-wise, Darnay Holmes definitely caught my eye. And there's also some good receivers I thought about drafting. Jalen Reagor's still on the board. Chase Claypool. Looked at more left tackles, but I already got one. And Jared Williams was still on the board. That was the guy I was looking at. Defensive tackles, Jordan Elliott, Brevion Roy, and Raekwon Williams were the top three I really wanted just from, their hidden gem development. Or not their development, but the green gem icon next to their pitcher. Rashad Lawrence I didn't scout, but maybe gave me a little decision making to do. Casey Tuhill still up there. Really debating on who I wanted to pick here, and I decided that I'd stick to the offensive line. So first four picks, three of them being offensive line, I go with Jared Williams. Projected in the 7th round, but has 4th round talent. But it's a good pick. Picked up right where he was. And he does have normal development. Next pick is Marcus Bailey to the Titans. Michael Ujimata to the Saints. Cameron Bynum to the Patriots. Jeremiah Dinson to the Giants. Geno Stone to the Jets. Broncos get Shaquille Quarterman. Rams go with Antonio Gibson. Redskins get James Lynch. Patriots get Cole McDonald. There goes another quarterback. Alohi Gillum to the Cowboys. Van Jefferson to the Texans. Darnay Holmes to the Seahawks. Adam Troutman to the Dolphins. Devin Duvernay to the Packers. Thomas Graham Jr. goes to the Panthers. Steven Montez to the Browns. Michael Pirine goes to the Buccaneers. KJ Hill to the Cardinals. Casey Tuhill off the board goes to the Vikings. Jared Pinkney to the Raiders. Jordan Elliott to the Falcons. Gage Kravaka to the Ravens. Tommy Kramer to the Colts. Evan Weaver to the Cardinals. Bills get Tyler Johnson. Lions get Michael Divinity Jr. Charlie Heck to the Niners. Nigel Warrior to the Bengals. Harrison Bryant to the Steelers. John Simpson to the Jaguars. Shane Lemieux to the Chiefs. Damon Arnett to the Redskins. Darrington Evans to the Titans. Tanner Muse to the Saints. Jonathan Grenard to the Bears. Rodney Smith to the Giants. Anthony Gordon to the Jets. And then the Broncos up next. Get A.J. Green. Jaguars up next on the clock. We got back-to-back picks coming up, and it's Rashad Lawrence going to the Jags. So Reagor is still on the board, and a lot of good receivers, and that kind of caught my attention. We have back-to-back picks here. So the first of the picks, I decided to get a defensive tackle, and I wanted this guy since I first scouted him. Brevion Roy out of Baylor, defensive tackle. That turns out to be a good pick. No hidden development, but still a solid pickup at defensive tackle. We need more depth there. I made a trade with the Seahawks and actually went 3 picks back. So we'll see the Seahawks, Cowboys, and Texans picked before us. Seahawks go with Kelton Moore, a fullback. Tuff Borland goes to the Cowboys, and Jake Luton goes to the Texans. So now we're back on the clock. I just wanted to see what would happen. I wasn't really sure. I wanted to trade down just a little bit to see what would happen. And out of the receivers, I go with Chase Claypool. Big frame, definitely a reach, but I need some receiver depth, so I think this is a pretty solid pickup in terms of what he brings to the table. Tyler Huntley to the Titans, Brandon Jones to the Packers, Parker Braun to the Panthers, Denzel Mims to the Browns. And now we got the Buccaneers with Raekwon Williams, Joe Gazzaniga to the Browns, Farnell Motley to the Vikings, J.R. Reed to the Raiders, Colby Parkinson to the Falcons, Khalid Kareem to the Ravens, Trayvon Bradford to the Colts, Tevin Jenkins goes to the Dolphins, Dane Jackson to the Bills, Jake Hansen to the Lions, Alton Robinson to the Niners, KJ Hamler to the Cowboys, finally a receiver, David Dowell to the Steelers, Levert Hill to the Jaguars, Colin Johnson to the Jets, Joe Bachie to the Broncos, and now we're back on the clock here in the 6th round. We have 2 more picks left, so I was just hoping to see what I can work with. I was looking more at defense this round since I picked up a receiver last, and Kendall Vildor is still on the board, and I definitely go with him, and this was a good pick. Hidden development, the 4th hidden development player in this draft we picked up. That is big, and I'm actually really excited about this pick out of most of them. Shaka Toney to the Saints, Jarvis Davis to the Bears, Darrell Williams to the Giants, DJ Dallas to the Jets, Broncos get Salon Ackman, Rams get Michael Pinkney, Tadarius Slayton to the Bears, Antonio Gandy Golden to the Patriots, Desmond Patton to the Dolphins, Javon Leake to the Texans, Charlie Warner to the Jaguars, Naquan Jones to the Titans, Tony Jones to the Packers, Donovan Peoples-Jones to the Panthers, Chris Williamson to the Browns. Now we're in the 7th round. Davian Taylor to the Eagles, Quez Watkins to the Cardinals. Vikings get Quintez Cephas, Mike Hampton to the Raiders, Richard Moore to the Falcons, Alex Taylor to the Packers. Only a few picks left. Joey Magnifico to the Colts, Forrest Merrill to the Dolphins, Brandon Ayuk to the Browns, Cheyenne O'Grady to the Lions, Doug Costin to the Niners, Joe Reed to the Bengals, Tristan Jackson to the Steelers, William Bradley King to the Jaguars, I'm not going to say the last name, to the Dolphins, Jeffrey McCullough to the Redskins, Levante Taylor to the Titans, Tyree Phillips to the Giants, Austin Mack to the Bears, Miles Bryant to the Giants, Mark Gilbert to the Jets, and now we're back on the clock. So last pick of the 7th round for us, or last pick for us, and I go with Jalen Reagor, just more depth at receiver, and that turned out to be a pretty solid pick. Same overall as Chase Claypool, but at least I have some receivers to build around. And I decided I want one more pick in this draft, so I made a trade with the Patriots, 2 picks from next year for this year, so we get a pick upcoming. Right after the Rams, they get James Prochet right before our next pick, which will be our final pick. And for this one, I just really felt like, building some more defensive players and just getting more depth. Looked at outside linebacker, and I took a chance on Lamar Winston Jr. here. Didn't scout him fully. I was trying to before we got to the draft, but it didn't. Big reach, but sometimes that happens in the draft. I get some depth at linebacker, and that's how this draft will continue for us. For the last picks, Chauncey Rivers to the Patriots, Matt Bushman to the Cowboys, Lorenzo Neal to the Texans, Seahawks go with John Molchon, TJ Brunson to the Titans, and the Packers, they go with Stanley Thomas Oliver, Juju Hughes to the Panthers, and then Mr. Irrelevant, final pick of the draft is Keyshawn Vaughn to the Browns. So that wraps up the 2020 NFL Draft. I'm actually pretty proud of this class. 9 picks. We went with 3 O-linemen, 5 offensive players total, 4 defensive. And I'll go through evaluations with the rookies during the preseason practice. Right now, we're going to go through the picks for each team. The Chiefs getting 5 selections. C.J. Henderson, definitely a big pickup in the secondary. The Colts get Derek Brown, DeAndre Swift, Jordan Love is on that list. That pretty solid draft from the Colts. Cowboys, Justin Montebuki and Henry Ruggs, pretty good picks for them. Joe Burrow, J.K. Dobbins, A.J. Terrell, Jeremy Chin for the Dolphins. Curtis Weaver for the Eagles, Jedrick Wills Jr. for the Falcons. Andrew Thomas for the Niners, Patrick Queen for the Giants, big pickup there. Jaguars with Delpit and Igbenogany, that's some pretty good secondary help. Jets getting Trayvon Diggs and Zach Moss, pretty good. CeeDee Lamb to the Lions. Packers with Ross Blacklock. Devin Duvernay, I think, is a great pick at receiver. T. Higgins, and then you got Nick Coe for the Panthers. Patriots get Antoine Winfield and Kyle Duggar. Kenneth Murray to the Raiders, I think, is a great pick from Mekhi Becton. Espinosa for the Rams, Jerry Jeudy for the Ravens, Xavier McKinney for the Redskins, Yuder Gross-Matos and Justin Herbert for the Saints. Seahawks get Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I thought that was a great pick. Javon Kinlaw for the Steelers, Carter Coughlin for the Texans. Titans, I thought Marcus Bailey was a really good pick at linebacker. Jeff Okudah to the Vikings. There's the overall selections. We already saw that earlier. DeAndre Swift being the best overall player in the class. And only 80 in this. He's an 82. A lot of 70s, of course. Zach Bond and Jordan Fuller, great picks for the Bears. In the defense, Tristan Wirfs, Jalen Johnson for the Bengals. Bills getting Christian Fulton and Laviska Shenault. Broncos, I think Kayvon Wallace is a great pick in the secondary. Definitely would like more help there. A.J. Dillon for the Browns, I thought is a great pick at running back. Already with a huge running back core. The Buccaneers had a great draft. Chase Young, Justin Jefferson, and Tua Tagovailoa. And then for the Cardinals, Isaiah Simmons and Anthony Jennings, I thought were great picks. So now, proceeding from the draft, we go to number changes and just a bunch of equipment changes. For K'Lavon Chaisson, I was thinking about maybe giving him a number 48, but then I originally switched it to 55. So that'll be his number. Lamar Winston goes from 56 to 47. I gave him that number. Just customization for my own free will. Chase Claypool was originally 85. He's now 15. Jared Williams from 68. He will go to 63, as I just thought it'd be a better fitting number for him. So now, since I didn't sign a lot of free agents this free agency, I had to sign a few of my own after the draft. So I have $5.37 million in cap space. So I signed Levi Wallace to a 1-year deal. Also get Jordan Akins on a 1-year deal as well, filling up some roster spots. Joey Hunt at center and Pace Murphy at left tackle. And some big news now. I got a stadium, rebuilding the stadium for next season, as this will be our last year in Digby Health Sports Park. It is now under construction, the new stadium. And now our schedule for Season 2. Preseason, we'll have the Colts at home, at the Bengals, home to the Vikings, and at the Niners. And then the regular season. We start off Sunday night against the Jets at home, at the Steelers, at the Raiders, home to the Broncos, at the Panthers, then home to the Bills, at the Patriots, versus the Buccaneers, at the Dolphins, versus the Titans. You also got the Kansas City Chiefs on the road. Then the Denver Broncos on Monday night and the Atlanta Falcons, all on a 3-game road trip with the Chiefs, Broncos, and Falcons. And then 3 straight home games to end the year against the Raiders, Chiefs, and Sunday night against the Saints. So very interesting schedule. Definitely not well balanced, but works well. Here's some more signings. Julian Taylor and Montravius Adams at defensive ends. I actually took off the captain for Brandon Medbane, as I am planning to release him off the team. But look at that, I couldn't release him because it puts us under the roster limit. So I set Mike Pouncey as a captain on the team. And then here's actually a player upgrade I ended up getting with Uchenna Nwosu, getting some pass coverage upgrade. Now here's our roster so far for season number 2. Only 52 players on the roster, so very low roster number, since with all the lack of free agent signings. No fullback on the roster currently, but mostly the same starters like Phillip Rivers, Melvin Gordon. We got Austin Eckler and Justin Jackson at running back. Receivers, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and Auden Tate will be the third stringer this year, as for now. Hunter Henry at tight end. Virgil Green's also backing him up. Offensive line looks like Josh Jones and Jared Williams will start as rookies. Also got Mike Pouncey, Quentin Spain, and Forrest Lamp up there. Defense is Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram, Jerry Tillery, Uchenna Nwosu, Denzel Perryman, K'Lavon Chaisson maybe to start, Desmond King, Casey Hayward Jr., Trevor Williams, Nasir Adderley, Derwin James, and then kicker and punter Michael Badgley and Tyler Newsome. So yeah, here is the season 2 preseason practice as we're getting right into that now, and this will be the last part of the video. This is about 13 minute, 14-minute compilation of just, highlights and analysis from the preseason practice that I had. This is about about an hour session of preseason practice, just testing out some of the new guys, new faces, just seeing what could work well this year with this group of players once again. So one thing I will say is let's talk about the 3 main things I wanted to address this offseason. Was number 1, the offensive line. How can we protect Phillip Rivers a lot better? And, did we pick up a lot, getting some new linemen? How do we protect them better? Quicker passes are going to be a big thing this year. I still want to run the play action a significant amount of time during games. But the O-line wise, we got rid of Russell Okung and Andre Smith at left and right tackle. I thought that was the biggest weakness of last year, was the blindside block. So they're no longer on the team. We still got Quentin Spain and Forrest Lamp on the interior at guard, and then Mike Pouncey at center. So that stays the same. I didn't think that was the biggest weakness, but blindside blockers are the big weakness. So we got 2 new replacements from the draft, of course, Josh Jones and Jared Williams. I think those are 2 solid picks. I really wanted better, Andrew Thomas, Tristan Wirfs, or even Mekhi Becton or Jedrick Wills. I was hoping one of them would slip to 17, but they didn't. All 4 of them went in the top 12. So I had to just settle with Josh Jones because I really just wanted to improve this O-line. And as you can see in this preseason practice, a lot of sacks and a lot of pass rushes happening. So already I'm getting a glimpse of what this O-line may look like against other opponents. Kind of concerns me a little bit, but maybe that's just a fluke during the preseason practice, and hopefully that will be the case. So that's really the first thing with the offensive line. I also got Michael Onwenu, a backup offensive guard, but I think does have hidden development, so that could be interesting to look at in the future. See if he'll get a spot on the offensive line. Right now, he's serving as the 6th man of the offensive line, based off overall, so he could get some rotational snaps out there on the team. So basically, what else we got to address? So number 2 is the defense. Basically the same faces as last year. And here's K'Lavon Chaisson getting a sack right here, one of our rookies, 2nd-round pick. And defensive-wise, I think we could be better this year. We weren't really great last year. There were times where we kind of showed, hey, we looked like actually a top 10 defense at times, but there were times where we looked like bottom of the pack in the NFL, which we pretty much were in most statistical categories last year. This year, I'm really relying on, I really think the secondary is going to have a big year. I may run more man-to-man coverage and rely on my defensive backs more. I do like King and Hayward at corner. I like Derwin James. Nasir Adderley was a great rookie last year. So I can't wait to see how their development's going to go for season 2. The linebacking core I feel like is the biggest weakness, even though it does have pretty solid players like Nwosu and Perryman. Chaisson is a question mark for now, but I think from what I saw in this preseason practice and with him having hidden development, he could be a potential star in the future. Defensive line, of course, Bosa's a beast, and Ingram's a solid defenseman as well. Jerry Tillery had a breakout rookie season, so I wonder how he'll do in season 2. Will he have a sophomore slump? And then looking at a backup defensive tackle, we don't really have a whole lot of options, but because of the low roster depth right now, but eventually that could change. So that's really about the defense. And then you look at the other rookies on the defensive side. We got guys like Kendall Vildor, that 6th-round corner we picked up. Ravion Roy, 5th-round defensive tackle. And then you got, of course, who's the other guy? I'm forgetting some names here. Let's see, who was it? Oh, yeah, Lamar Winston Jr. in the 7th round. But most likely will serve as probably a practice squad player. Speaking of practice squad players, same thing with the 2 receivers, Jalen Reagor and Chase Claypool. Most likely will probably serve as practice squad players the first year, since our receiving core is kind of all right with, I don't think it's as good as last year. I think it definitely downgraded with still having Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and Auden Tate, but no more Travis Benjamin, no more Dylan Cantrell, no more Jeremy Davis. And I'm pretty sure that's the 6 we had last year. The 6 this year, where the 3 new guys are from the practice squad last year.
What we do here
Auden Tate did serve on the practice squad for a little bit, then got signed to the active roster out of the 4. And then the other 3 who sat on the practice squad for the remainder of last year, or for the whole season last year, are now on the active roster this year. Those guys are Marcel Aitman, Isaiah Ford, and Austin Carr. And I'm really seeing in this practice really I'm trying to evaluate which one is the better out of the 3. See who could be the 4th-string receiver, but most likely all 3 of them will rotate minutes and playing time to see who I could really find out as a good option at receiver. And maybe Claypool and Reagor make their way onto the active roster eventually. Maybe not this season. Maybe this season. I don't really know. And then the third thing I want to address this offseason, which is more of a game management thing and a gamely thing, is limiting the turnovers. Right there you see an interception. Definitely a lot of interceptions and sacks have been allowed in this preseason practice. Nice catch from Austin Carr right here. Going up for it and high pointing the ball. And so back to the turnover talk. I mean, look at that. I think that was Tyrod Taylor throwing. That was way off. But back to the turnover thing. That's really just a game thing, that's more on me, just, making better decisions with the football, not forcing throws, not taking risky decisions and turning into potential interception or fumble. Because I felt like late last year that was really a problem. And look at the big lineman go! Yeah, he can't outrun Derwin James. But that's really going to be a thing. And look at this pressure, my lord. I mean, this is the 2nd string unit, by the way. There's the rookie Kindle Vildor getting it. Actually, not the sack, but getting to the quarterback first and applying some pressure. So yeah, what else do we got to talk about? That's the 3 addresses I want to talk about. So now what I want to talk about is, let's talk about each position. So quarterback, Phillip Rivers is up in age, doesn't retire yet, so he will be the starter, of course. Tyrod Taylor is a potential trade option, but will serve as the 2nd string right now. There's Kindle Vildor again, making a nice play in coverage with the interception. And Easton Stick, I may get some minutes out there, but he may stay on the practice squad for another year in his 2nd season. There goes Austin Eckler right here. And now as we transition to the running backs, perfect timing. So Melvin Gordon will be the main starter. Austin Eckler will rotate as well as a 2nd stringer, along with Justin Jackson. So those are the 3 we only have on the roster, and I really like all 3 of them, so they're definitely going to get some valuable playing time this year. Receivers, I kind of just talked about it briefly. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams will be the main 2. Auden Tate should really improve his role this year as the 3rd string guy. Marcel Aitman, Isaiah Ford, Austin Carr are the basically rotational 4, 5, and 6 receivers. And then Claypool and Reagor could make their way on the roster. Look at that catch. That's who was that? That was Anthony Ferkser, I believe, the tight end. And there's Jalen Reagor right there, the rookie with a one-handed snag. That was a nice catch. As Easton Stick is now in at quarterback. No more Tyrod Taylor. Big hit from Calebon Chason right there. So now so I talked about Claypool and Reagor and the receivers. So let me transition to the tight ends now. So we got Hunter Henry. We got Jordan Akins, Virgil Green, and we also have Anthony Ferkser, who actually just signed and picked up and he was actually on our practice squad last year. That's why I didn't sign him, but he signed from the practice squad after last season got over and done with. Here's some highlights of the O-line. Josh Jones right here. And Jared Williams on the right side. Right now, Josh Jones and Jared Williams will start. And then there's Michael Onwenu at the right guard. So let me finish up my tight end slot really quick. So Hunter Henry's the main starter. 2nd string will basically be Virgil Green, maybe Jordan Akins if he can play well, and Ferkser may serve as just I may get on the practice squad if he's eligible. If not, I don't know if he's going to find a role with the 3 tight ends in front of him. But he did pretty well in this preseason practice. You see another catch right there. So now let's transition to the O-line. So the rookies, Josh Jones and Jared Williams, I'm going to start them in the preseason at left and right tackle. Michael Onwenu will back up Forrest Lamp at right guard. So that's what we'll go with there. And then Quentin Spain and Mike Pouncey, of course, will be at the left guard and the center. There's a pretty weird fumble animation there. Nice pickup from Easton Stick. Good awareness. And so, yeah, that's pretty much all with the offense. I'm actually expecting this offense to I think maybe they'll be a step down this year compared to last year. Last year we were pretty solid most times with offense. This year I think maybe a little bit of a downgrade. I may rely more on the running game as our receivers aren't necessarily it's a little bit worse than last year, but I think we can still utilize a 50-50 run-pass game. And then, yeah, that pretty much sums it up for the offense. So defense, defensive line's got Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram, Jerry Tillery. Those are the main three starters. I may run a 3-4 system this year, but I'll probably keep it with 4-3. So that definitely... And Brandon Medbane is also still on the team at defensive tackle. I'm trying to make a move, though, to release him or trade him and free up some cap space. But yeah, that's the defensive line. It should be just as dominant as last year. No changes there, really. Linebackers, Denzel Perryman. We also have Uchenna Nwosu. And now Kayvon Chason's taken over Thomas Davis's role, who just retired. I think the linebacking core will be interesting to watch. That's definitely the big thing to watch this season with the defense is the linebackers. I really believe that they're good run stoppers, but can they be good in pass coverage? Last year I felt like pass coverage, they were not very consistent. They were very inconsistent, actually, in the passing game. So now let's transition to the secondary. Let's go with the corners first. So Desmond King and Casey Hayward are the clear-cut starters. Kendall Vildor, I think, could find a role really early, even as a sixth-rounder, just because of the hidden development and pretty high overall, 70 overall to start, and that was as a sixth-rounder. So we'll see how he can get his position on the team. Definitely should be pretty immediate impact this season. Levi Wallace is also, I just signed, just like 10 minutes ago, I signed him on this team in this video. Wonder how he'll work on the team, maybe special teams or maybe even a potential spot. So that's what I got for corners right now, I can recall. And then safeties. I forgot about Trevor Williams at corner. He should be the third string guy, but Vildor could also rotate with him as well there. So now let's transition to safety. So Nasir Adderley, Derwin James, and Adrian Phillips are the only three safeties I have on the roster. I think they'll be pretty good. Compared to the corners, they'll be equally as good as them. I think Derwin James, he was injured for half the year last year, something like that. So hopefully he can improve and have a breakout season. Nasir Adderley, hopefully he can avoid a sophomore slump. And then Adrian Phillips will run as a hybrid safety, maybe as like a slot corner or as a substitutional linebacker in a linebacker stance or their formations status or something like that. So yeah, that's really the defense. So hopefully, I think the defense will improve this year. Not like a huge change, but definitely a noticeable step forward, and that's my hope. And then special teams, Michael Badger should be a consistent, pretty solid kicker like he was last year. Hopefully, will be a little more clutch. And then with the in terms of, there's Lamar Winston Jr., by the way, with a sack. I believe Jerry Tillery. And then Tyler Newsome as the punter. He was a really solid rookie last year at punter, punting the ball deep down the field. I think he'll continue that this year as well. There's Bravion Roy right there, the defensive tackle. Look at that swim move around the lineman. He gets the sack. So yeah, that pretty much sums up the preseason practice and the roster. Just talk about the roster for season 2. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you have not already. And also some big news. I got some big videos coming tomorrow. I'm not going to tell you what they are, but you'll see when they come out tomorrow on Friday, May 14th. Hope you guys enjoyed and have a great day.